I just want a pack of like 100 strong, valiant, beautiful, noble souls around me. And I think that's because that's my dream. I'm just constantly disappointed by reality. Maybe I should be a bit more of a Buddhist or Stoic and be content with exactly what is. But I have a more of a heroic pagan spirituality that believes in the pursuit and the quest of magnificence and the quest towards glory. And in that, I am constantly disappointed by people. Oh my God. Not many people are like me. I feel like an alien in this world. We live in a very like anti-traditional world where most men have been totally swept off their feet. And like, hey, I know there's some valiant, beautiful, unique guys out there. I know a few, you know, kudos to you guys. But I forgot how bad average was. And this is not an attack, but I literally forgot how bad average was. Since I was about maybe 16, I was kind of always surrounding myself with people who were interesting, inspiring, you know, like whether they were like D1 athletes or philosophers or like, you know, people who were doing something. And then when I was 19, I took a journey that was very hyper alone. I dropped out of a school. I moved into my car. I was basically homeless for 2 years and just isolated myself, like studying old books and being alone, kind of figuring out what the hell I was going to do in this life. And when I came back from that, what helped me ground back into reality was I found a martial arts teacher down in Southwest Colorado. Ended up living in his backyard, and then I met my girlfriend there. And these are definitely people who walked different paths in their lives. And I was kind of isolated from the world. I was in like this like cool like earth conscious community. I was kind of always surrounded by maybe entrepreneurs or farmers or people who are into the idea of virtue. And then I moved to Denver and I got some normal roommates, some just like normal dudes. And honestly, it's refreshing in a huge way. But also it's disgusting in a huge way. And I literally mean this with the utmost love and compassion. I see these guys, 2 of them in particular in the past year that I've lived with, who are intelligent, who are good looking, who have mad potential in this life, and they just leave it all on the table. They just play video games, they literally watch TV, eat frozen meals, and don't do anything unless they're told to do something. And I get it, they're a product of a very sick culture, of a culture with very little agency, a culture of consumerism, a culture of comfort. And it's like, it's devastating them. I see how miserable they are on the inside, and I feel sad for them. And I also feel contempt towards that level of weakness. That's just being real. Contempt is an interesting feeling on the spiritual path. I've been feeling it more and more in the past year. And I've been sitting with it, like, what is this feeling? Where does it come from? And I think a lot of the neo-Buddhist New Agers out here, all love and light, trying to be Buddha, are bypassing a lot of the human experience. And also, I think this like love for all the overwhelming unconditional love for all of humanity is only preached by bullshitters or saints, which are they're very rare. Most people are bullshitting you. I think contempt comes from a place of disgust with sickness. I am frustrated by the sickness in the world. I am frustrated by the sickness that is bringing down my brothers and sisters. I am frustrated in the sickness that led me into so much addiction and so much pain and so much isolation. I'm frustrated by the sickness in this world, and I have contempt for it. I have contempt for weakness inside myself, and it comes out towards other people, and I actually think that's wrong in some degree. I like the idea of being strict with yourself and being compassionate and tolerant of other people, because I've been there. But it's interesting. I was thinking about it in terms of an ancient aristocracy. In ancient aristocracy, contempt would have been a very valid feeling. People had contempt for inferiors. Inferiors had envy for superiors. And then people had hate for people who were similar to them. This is a very Nietzschean idea. I think we have lost the art of embracing the darker emotions of human nature. Everything in spirituality today is about bypassing all the darker aspects of human nature, and then the whole world is about negating the darker aspects of human nature, especially if they're masculine. And I think frustration, contempt, these kinds of things are actually very powerful for overcoming weakness inside of yourself. Now, in these reflections, I heard something from Alex Hormozi. I have very mixed feelings about Alex Hormozi. Maybe I'll make a video about him one day. I think he's a sociopath. Imagine the amount of contempt that guy feels. He said, measure each performance not by outcomes, but by how much was left in the tank. Do you have 0 left in the tank? And I was thinking about this in terms of how I can measure my days, okay? In the sense of when I go to bed and I journal at night, how much was left in the tank? Because that's how I want to live my life. I want to have 0 left on the table, 0 left on the tank at the end of the day. I want to have given my all, lived into my most glorious and heroic path, and like fulfilled and actualized my potential. That is my destiny. That is what I want to do. That is what I want to be in this life, is the actualization of my potential. And I think a lot of other men resonate with that idea. And the way to do it is to simply look at today, right? And leave nothing on the table. Because if you leave nothing on the table today, and nothing on the table tomorrow, and nothing on the table the next day, oh my God, you're going to be a beautiful one. You're going to be a fucking glorious one. And this is the path I want to encourage for all the higher men and rarer souls that follow me, is think about, measure life not by outcomes, not by, oh, I think I did pretty good, but do you have 0 left in the tank, right? And when you do this, it's inevitable that you're going to bring forth your potential. I think about this when I am considering approaching a girl, or I'm considering approaching a random guy at the park, or I'm about to make a video like this, or I'm about to like head into the mountains to go camping by myself, or I'm about to like do my creative work, or I have resistance to writing again. It's like, brother, leave 0 on the tank today. You know, are you gonna watch TV, or are you gonna read that book tonight? Like, what does 0 in the tank look like for you? And just getting a little bit closer every day. Honestly, I've probably been averaging about 3 or 4 left in the tank. So I'm trying to get down to 0. It's hard. But on this path, I've noticed that as my vitality increases, as my attunement to myself increases, my contempt also increases. And I'm like, what the hell? God, I thought we were becoming more spiritually noble, and compassionate, more Buddha-like. And I realized that as you come into a place of healthy life, you have disgust towards the sickness in the world. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a necessary stage in the spiritual evolution. I think a lot of people who do actually come into vitality of some kind, like raw vitality or maybe success, they get very arrogant, or they have a lot of contempt for people. And again, I think this needs to be harnessed in. But I just want to make this video to be real about the human nature here. Is like, as you come into healthy life, you'll be disgusted by sickness. It's almost like in the more ancient spirituality, there was no toleration of evil. And in the modern spirituality, all we preach is toleration of evil, because evil is all we know today. We live in a very sick culture, in a sick world, full of poisons, full of toxins, full of weak life, full of distressed life, full of slavish life. And like, wow, you need a lot of compassion, a lot of grace for this. And also, I don't believe in bypassing any element of the human experience. I don't believe in bypassing hate, contempt, envy. Like, I think these are very real things to the human experience, and I wanted to talk about it because most people don't. Most people are like, oh, we're just gonna be fucking dancing Buddhas out here. And I'm like, no, you fucking new age bypasser. Oh. I forgot how bad average was. Is that arrogant to say? I know average is most people, but average is bad. I have a good friend who takes it easy in life in some ways because he compares himself to average people. And this is one of the faultiest things that rare souls can do out here. My friends, average right now is just beneath you. You don't, like, he has so much potential, so much intelligence, so much raw power in his soul. I'm like, yo, compare yourselves to the greatest men and women who have ever lived. Don't compare yourself to this. You can be so much more. If you left 0 on the tank in this lifetime, you would be a legend, my friend. I know actually quite a few guys like this. Quite a few guys who are conformed to the average of today, of like, you just go to your job and then you come home and smoke weed and play video games and jerk off to porn and like waste your life away. Makes me upset because I'm like, yo, dude, I see you're miserable in there. I see you're hurting in there. And I don't know what it's gonna take for you to dig deep and like start overcoming this in small ways. Maybe start comparing yourself to something greater. Maybe start surrounding yourself with people who are aspiring to something greater. But my friends, like, average doesn't have to be average. Average back in the ancient world in a more traditional sense, like if you took the most average fucking aristocrat from ancient Greece and put him in today's world, who would literally conquer the earth, he would be worshipped as a god. The most average man of ancient Greece would be worshipped as a god today. Like, think about that. Like, average changes all the time. An average today is kind of pathetic. Oh, people are gonna call me arrogant and, you know, call me bad names and give me more hate on YouTube. Like, I don't get enough of it. But I think it's courageous to speak the truth about your actual experience, even if it includes some of the shadow of your experience. I realize that contempt, that envy, that arrogance, these are more shadow sides of the experience, but I think we need to actually integrate them if we want to live our strongest, healthiest, and most vital lives, and do that beautifully with one another. Is we have to be radically real about the experience of life. And average, it's pretty bad right now, my friends. It's kind of sick right now. And I just want to inspire you to have the courage to live into health. Because health, my friends, energy is like this stream. The more energy, the more health you create in your life, the wider the stream becomes, the more water flows through it. That's how something really beautiful is created. Maybe you didn't get that metaphor. My name is Christian. If you're a man on a mission out there or looking for your mission, I'm trying to rally the troops into the Men's Academy. There's a link in the description to talk to me about that one-on-one. We have an amazing set of guys in there, amazing calls every week. We'd love to see you on the inside. That's not for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next video. Let me know your thoughts. Peace.